Hey y'all, very quickly, since I was cooking anyway, I thought I'd post a quick live video. Can anybody tell me what I am doing? I am dry roasting something, right, for a dish that if you know anything about South Indian food, you should be able to figure out pretty quickly. So in my pan is upma. Well, I'm making upma, but it is cream of wheat. There you go, cream of wheat, pretty simple. We use this and we eat it in for Western breakfast. We mix it with, boil it in milk, add some sugar, honey, some fruit. This is a savory version. This is a typical South Indian breakfast in many areas of South India. I grew up making upma because we had so many South Indian friends. And I needed some upma today because I am just craving comfort food, and I had a ton of cream of wheat in the pantry, so I thought, let me make it. You can also find cream of rice these days, and that is something to consider if you don't want the wheat in your day-to-day and you are gluten-free. What am I doing right now to the cream of wheat? I am dry roasting it. You got to be careful. It takes a little bit of time for these 2 cups to get warmed up enough and browned enough on the bottom. But now that I have it going, I want to keep it moving so it does not burn. And this is cream of wheat being roasted. That's the biggest mistake a lot of folks make when they make upma. They don't dry roast first. You can purchase pre-roasted cream of wheat, but I tend not to go that route just because I don't always make it as often as I'd like, and I don't know how much it's roasted. I like mine really nice and roasted. So if you do it without the roasting, what happens is you get a very mushy sort of consistency, and I want it just to be absolutely perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing that. Keep in mind, as you're roasting and as the heat increases, there is a tendency for the bottom to just burn, right? So you see it really is getting nice and brown. I want to keep shaking it just to get it nice and browned up. It's super simple. Usually I'll probably make about a cup of this. Today I decided to do 2 cups. It's a lot of product. I may end up just cutting it in half and keeping the roasted for another time. So this is now beautifully roasted. I'm going to go ahead and turn this heat off. I want to move this from my stovetop because I don't want it to burn on the bottom, and I'm going to let it kind of sit there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make the tadka. We've talked about tadka in the past. I'm not quite ready to cook this up quite yet, but I will show you the ingredients that you're going to need to make a beautiful, perfect upma. I don't know if any of you saw Chef Floyd Cardoz on Top Chef. He won, I think it was like Top Chef Masters, with an upma dish, and that is what this dish is. Chef Cardoz passed away not too long ago because of corona. So he got the coronavirus on March 17th. He had posted on his Instagram that he had a fever and he was admitted to the hospital. And sadly, he passed away. It's the first person I knew that died of this craziness. And so, anytime I'm thinking about making this dish, I think of him. When I went to India to go start shooting my cooking show in Kerala, everybody on the ground, and I'm talking about people that were wealthier, business owners, to people that were driving our, rickshaws around, were asking me about this guy who went to America and won a cooking competition with upma. It was just amazing how they knew that, and it was because of Chef Floyd. And so this is really, just a time to think and remember that we are all in this together, and we all have to do our duty to stay healthy. And that's my PSA for the day. stay indoors. All right, so we've got cream of wheat. If you just joined, that was dry roasted. It's in a wide pan, a dry pan, roasted. You can buy it pre-roasted. I tend to just roast it myself. And what you'll end up doing is you're gonna end up pulling out mustard seed. I don't use my mustard seed as much, largely because we cook a lot more North Indian than we do South Indian cuisine. So I just keep it in a jar like this, a glass jar in my cabinet, my pantry, and I'll pull it out as I need it. You don't need too much. It would be nice if I had curry leaves, if I could find them. They're in my fridge somewhere, so I will pull that out and I'll show you how I'm going to put together the upma in just a bit. But let me give you the quick rundown. It's great because you can grab whatever. Look at this. This looks so sad, right? This is that mix of carrot, what's it called? String bean and corn that you buy from the grocery store. It is in the frozen section. This was forgotten in the way back of my freezer, and I'm just gonna use it just for the hay of it. I know it's got a little bit of freezer burn to it, but it was all nicely packaged and it's not that old. This is a great time to pull out whatever you've got sitting in the freezer. I've got fresh onion as well. And I'm gonna pull out some coconut oil and I'm gonna go ahead and put that all into a nice pan. I keep my all-clad down here. I was gonna do this in a smaller pan, but I think I'm gonna pull out the large all-clad. I shifted all my pots and pans recently, and it is down in here. So let's go ahead and pull that out. And I will go ahead and do my tadka. Remember, we've been talking about tadka. Add oil infusion in your with your spices, and I want that bottom all-clad on the very, very bottom. What's really cool about these heavy pans, first of all, to cook Indian successfully, it is really nice to have heavier pans, which are very tough to transport in your kitchen with one hand as you shoot a Facebook Live video. But they are necessary. This one probably needs a little bit of cleaning. I use my pans quite a bit. And I'll probably, before I go ahead and cook, just try to scrape this down just a little bit more. But it is critical to have good quality pans, pots and pans. If you are on a budget, I always say wait for the sales. And right now may be a good time to jump online. Williams-Sonoma, Sur La Table, all these shops, they may be looking to sell things online because their stores are actually closed. Maybe a good time to look for pots and pans like this. This was a set that I bought during Christmas about 2 years ago, and it came with 2 pans like this and the lids, and I don't think it was more than $125. So you can find some really good deals, and you gotta make sure you've got quality pots and pans, but for now, use whatever you have on hand. Another trick too, or tip and trick as I say, is keep in mind whatever amount of product you've got, use a slightly bigger pan for it. I was gonna use this Calphalon pot that we got for our wedding. It is really beat up. This was like 21 years ago that we got married. But it really is too small for, sorry, that's Oliver playing watchdog. Someone's at the door. All right, it should be okay. But I switched my plan around to use a bigger pan because that's one of the easiest things that you can do to ruin your cooking experience, especially with Indian, is not use a wide enough pot or pan, because your product sometimes needs to kind of grow and just kind of grow into the pan that you're using. All right, I need to kind of get a little bit more set up. I want to chop up some chilies, and then I'm going to try to find those curry leaves if I can. So the idea on upma is, in here, I'm going to go ahead and heat my oil. I'll sign back on in a few minutes once I'm ready for it. I'm going to heat up my oil. I'm going to use coconut oil for this. I'm going to throw in my mustard seed. A trick that I learned from all the chefs in the Malabar Coast that I worked with is don't use too much of the mustard seed because it does impart a little bit of the bitter flavor profile. The beauty is on mustard seed though, all the benefits, health benefits you get from eating greens, you can get from these little gorgeous seeds as well, but you need to temper them in your hot oil or ghee. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some nuts. I wanna fish out some unroasted cashew nuts, unsalted, unroasted, raw cashew nuts. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. If you have peanuts that are raw, usually you can only find them in the Indian grocery stores, throw that in. Maybe you wanna just do some almonds, slice them up, put them in there as well, whatever you want. I like to add that little bit of plant-based protein, and if you're not allergic to nuts in your house, add that in. And then I'll add in my onion and add in any other veggies, chopped veggies that I'm gonna be using. You can use any chopped veggies you want, brown them up, and then what you're gonna do is take this 2 cups of sauteed browned cream of wheat or cream of rice, because they sell that now too, put it in your pan, let it cook, mix, and then you're gonna add the water. It's 1 cup to 2 cups water ratio on cream of wheat, and that's gonna bubble. You're gonna let it, you can put the lid on, let it kind of sit there for a minute, and then for added taste, you're gonna add in a little bit of lemon juice at the end, as well as a little bit of salt, obviously. All right, so let me just get prepared. Sorry, I wanted to hit that 11 o'clock live feed time that I'd allotted myself. I was gonna skip it today, but I thought, you know what? We're all at home, it's Friday. Why not do a quick post? I'll be back on in just a couple minutes. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for being patient. And if you've got cream of wheat in your pantry, pull it out. And you've got frozen, sorry looking vegetables in your freezer, pull it out, use them up. Now's the time to use up every little bit in your freezer and in your pantry. This is the cream of wheat that I had. And let me just show you this. This is the brown rice hot cereal as well. So you could do it with any grain pretty much, but traditionally Upma is made with cream of wheat. All right, I'm gonna sign off. Oh, thanks, Deborah. And this is actually devoted, this Facebook Live is devoted to my best friend, Grace. She lives in Israel. We went to high school together. I showed her how to make Upma once, and I think she makes it for her family like every single week. It's amazing. All right, I'm gonna sign off for now, but I will be back in just a couple minutes, okay? See you soon.